What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Now, I want to dive into this article that I saw on Newsweek.com because it plays into a video that I did a couple of weeks ago called The Shape of Things to Come. And what I've been seeing is this very, very gradual movement towards people slowly beginning to accept the fact that the COVID-19 vaccines were not what they were sold to us as. So you're starting to get people who are feeling remorseful, regretful, and it seems like we're getting to a point now where people are beginning to get worried that they're going to be held accountable. And what I'm talking about there is maybe doctors, professionals who push these things, and they're starting to get a little bit worried that we are reaching an age of accountability, right? So I saw this article here in Newsweek.com, and check out this headline, guys. It says, "It's time for the scientific community to admit we were wrong about COVID, and it cost lives." Now, this is an opinion piece by one Mr. Kevin Bass, and he is a PhD student in medical school, right? Kevin Bass, and he goes on to say, and I think it's very interesting, and this is a very long article. I'm not going to read all of it, but I just want you to get the gist of what's happening here. Then I will give my commentary as usual. "As a medical student and researcher, I staunchly supported the efforts of the public health authorities when it came to COVID-19. I believe that the authorities responded to the largest public health crisis of our lives," that's a lie, "with compassion," that's a lie, "diligence," and scientific expertise. I was with them when they called for lockdowns, vaccines, boosters, and then he goes on to say, "I was wrong. We in the scientific community were wrong, and it cost lives." I can see now that the scientific community, from the CDC and the WHO to the FDA and their representatives, repeatedly overstated the evidence and misled the public about its own views and policies, including on natural versus artificial immunity, school closures, and disease transmission, aerosol spread, mask mandates, and vaccine effectiveness and safety, especially among the young. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to save it to the end. I know what you're thinking, and I'm thinking it too. Just hold on. All of these were scientific mistakes at the time, not in hindsight. Amazingly, some of these obfuscations sounded out, Mark. Obfuscations continue to the present day. Now, someone is going to get in the comment section and like spell it out for me, like sound it out for me. And I'll appreciate that because this has got to be an educational experience for all of us, right? So anyway, going on. But perhaps more important than any individual error was how inherently flawed the overall approach of the scientific community was and continues to be. It was flawed in a way that undermined its efficacy and resulted in thousands, if not millions, of preventable deaths. Now that's quite a sentence, guys. Take a moment to marinate in that because this is what's been driving me for this whole thing. All right. It was flawed in a way that undermined its efficacy and resulted in thousands, if not millions, of preventable deaths. Now, what could he possibly mean by that? This is what I've been saying, not a doctor. This is what I've been saying for the longest. The answer to any virus or illness cannot be a vaccine. It's got to be treatment. So if you're being denied treatment and people start dying, well, somebody's got to be held accountable for that because this is something that's been well known for as long as they've been practicing medicine. You have to have some form of treatment, but they denied all of those people who died treatment because they were trying to make billions of dollars off of a vaccine. We talked about this a lot. What we did not properly appreciate is that preferences determine how scientific expertise is used, and that our preferences might be indeed, our preferences were very different from many of the people that we serve. We created policy based on our preferences, then justified it using data. And then we portrayed those opposing our efforts as misguided, ignorant, selfish, and evil. We made science a team sport, and in so doing, we made it no longer science. So when Fauci says follow the science. You have to respect the science. You have to listen to the science. This guy is saying, and he's saying it correctly, that they made it a team sport, and in doing so, they made it no longer science. It became us versus them, and they responded the only way anyone might expect them to, by resisting. We excluded important parts of the population from policy development and castigated critics, which meant we deployed a monolithic response across an exceptionally diverse nation, forged a society more fractured than ever, and exasperated long-standing health and economic disparities. Our emotional response and ingrained partisanship prevented us from seeing the full impact of our actions on the people we are supposed to serve. You guys might remember, I've pointed this out many times on Twitter. I was trying to get the hashtag going, doctors do your job. I was putting that all over the place. Never caught on, but that's okay. It says here, we systematically minimized the downsides of the interventions we imposed without the input, consent, and recognition of those forced to live with them. Of course, this was always my point when people were coming on my videos saying, oh, you're a doctor now? Oh, you know more than doctors? Well, listen, patients have a voice too. That is the relationship. That's the core relationship of medicine and medical practice. Doctor-patient relationships. It's not just the doctor speaking, it's the patient. Because of course, the concept of informed consent goes hand in hand with do no harm, which is what doctors are tasked with. They are supposed to do no harm, and we are supposed to be gifted with information so we can make an informed consent. That's the way it works. As patients, we're supposed to speak up. We're supposed to ask questions. But of course, when I was asking questions and voicing my concerns, I was told to shut the hell up. So it says here, in so doing, we violated the autonomy of those who would be most negatively impacted by our policies: the poor, the working class, small business owners, blacks and Latinos and children. These populations were overlooked because they were made invisible to us by their systematic exclusion from the dominant corporatized media machine that presumed omniscience. Most of us did not speak up in support of alternate views, and many of us tried to suppress them. When strong scientific voices like world-renowned Stanford professors John Ioannidis, you know what, guys? They're getting into some very long, complicated names, and you guys see I'm struggling to read as it is. So you know that I'm going to leave the link to this in the comment section below, okay? It's going to be in the pinned comment so you can read it for yourself, all right? Don't come at me with, you know, this article is fake, right? Like the other one. Keep in mind, guys, by the way, the other article that I read it directly off of iqfy.com. I said it in the video. So stop distracting the point with saying that it was placed falsely on the Conversations website. It was placed falsely on the Conversations website. I wasn't reading from the Conversation. I was reading from iqfy.com. That's the difference, all right? I gave you the link where you can find that article. This article also will be in the pinned comment below. All right, so anyway, guys, it goes on and on and on, all right? But here's the point that I want to make, because the video is going to go long. The point is that we're starting to see people now trying to, they're trying to explain why we got into this situation that we're in now and why all of those lives were lost by saying that we were misled. We just didn't know. Now, this person here who wrote the article, they're beginning to show some signs of realizing that you can't go that route. There is no escape from accountability in this, because from the beginning, you have voices telling you that this wasn't the way to go. You had doctors like Dr. Peter McCullough. You had doctors like Pierre Corey, like who is it, Robert Malone. You had all of these voices out here who were telling you that the vaccines were not going to work, that actually the vaccines could be dangerous. They were saying this from the very beginning. And other doctors, plenty of doctors from all around the world, and they lost their license. People like me had videos flagged. You know, they were just told to shut up. So there is no escape from accountability when you did have people, and I'm just some guy who's on a video, but when you had world-renowned doctors telling you from the very beginning, but you didn't want to listen, you rather listen to a piece of shit like Tony Fauci, there is no escape. There's no escape from accountability. We will not accept this. We want people to be held accountable. We want to see criminal charges for all of those lives that were lost who were denied treatment. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. So this is the latest article, and I'm going to try to showcase every one that I come across, because we need to see this. We need to see that the tide is turning, because as we speak, they're still pushing it. They're still trying to put it on the schedule of children's vaccines, knowing that is damaging children's hearts. This has got to be the biggest human sacrifice ritual I have ever seen or ever heard about in human history. But yeah, there it is, guys. And I just wanted to point that out. You guys can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this. Those of us who know better have to keep speaking up, because we just might save some lives. It's too late for the ones that we lost. Unfortunately, we weren't speaking up loud enough. Apparently, we have to speak up louder, guys. And this is the reason why I do these videos, because I love you. Okay, I just can't keep on talking about, pop culture and things like that without sprinkling this in, because I hear people coming into my comment section all the time telling me about family members that they lost, about jobs that they've lost over the last 3 years and things like that. And I represent them, not just in what we watch, but in the lives that we live. So guys, get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.